Zeng Xueming was born into a Catholic family in Guangzhou in October 1905. She was the youngest daughter in a family of 10 children. Her father was a businessman from Mixian, Guangdong. He died in 1915. As the daughter of a concubine, she was expelled from her father's house when he died. In these difficult circumstances, she was befriended by the wife of Vietnamese communist Lam Duc Tu. She learned to be a midwife at a school in Guangzhou and graduated in 1925, at the age of 20. At this time, Vietnam was part of French Indochina, with communist and nationalist political activity targeted by the Sûreté, the French police. Ho Chi Minh arrived in Guangzhou in November 1924 on a boat from Vladivostok, in the Soviet Far East. He posed as a Chinese citizen named Li Shui, and worked as a translator for Comintern agent and Soviet arms dealer Mikhail Borodin. In 1925, Zeng was introduced to Ho by Lam Duc Tu, who was at this time active in the Vietnamese revolutionary movements, but he was later exposed as an informer for the Sûreté. Ho later gave Zeng a ruby engagement ring. They were married on October 18, 1926. The legal witnesses were Kai Chang and Deng Yingzhao, who was wife of future Chinese Premier Zhou Enlai. The wedding took place in the same building where Zhou had married Deng earlier. They then lived together at Mikhail Borodin's residence. Ho was overjoyed when he learned that Zeng was pregnant in late 1926. But Zeng obtained an abortion on the advice of her mother, who feared that Ho might be forced to leave China. On April 12, 1927, Kuomintang nationalist leader Chiang Kai-shek staged an anti-communist coup in Shanghai and other cities around China. Ho went into hiding and fled to Hong Kong on May 5. Chinese police raided his residence in Guangzhou that same day. Ho then traveled to various countries, finally arriving in Bangkok, Thailand in July 1928. In August, he sent a letter to Zeng, saying, "Although we have been separated for almost a year, our feelings for each other do not have to be said in order to be felt. At present, I am taking advantage of this opportunity to send you a few words to reassure you, and also to send my greetings and good wishes to your mother." This letter was intercepted by the Sûreté. And although she was uninterested in politics, Zeng was a member of the Chinese Communist Youth League from July 1927 to June 1929. Zeng visited Ho in the winter of 1929 when he was back in Hong Kong. In May 1930, Ho sent a letter asking Zeng to meet him in Shanghai, but her boss hid the letter and she did not receive it in time. He was arrested by British police in Hong Kong on June 6, 1931. Unknown to him, Zeng attended his court hearing on July 10, the last time she would see him in person. To evade a French request for extradition, the British announced in 1932 that Ho Chi Minh was dead and later released him. In May 1950, Zeng saw a picture of Ho in a newspaper and learned that he had become president of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. She then sent a message to the North Vietnamese ambassador in Beijing. She never got an answer. She tried again in 1954, but her letter was again unanswered. Representatives of the Chinese government told her to stop trying to contact Ho and promised to provide for her needs. By this time, a cult of personality had arisen round Ho, and the North Vietnamese government had an investment in the myth of his celibacy, said to symbolize his total devotion to the revolution. For his part, Ho asked the North Vietnamese consul in Guangzhou to find Zeng in 1967, but had no success. Ho died on September 2, 1969. Zeng retired as a midwife in 1977 and died the 14th of November 1991, in Guangzhou, at the age of 80. Zeng